Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Crypt. I am your host, Lewis, otherwise known as Dixie Normus. Again, it's just going to be me for tonight. But for episode 7, we're going to be going over my Lotus 7 games, my run there at the tournament. Pretty serendipitous that the tournament that I attended to and this episode number aligned together, which is pretty cool. This was on the 25th, I believe, and the previous weekend, there wasn't a tournament near me that was happening as far as I'm aware of. I might have missed something, but I don't think there was anything going on. So I got to have a good weekend to take a break, do some D&D, and just kind of relax, and gonna go over some more Modern Horizons 3 stuff and all that jazz to see what's kind of new coming up. Get some more proxies for all those new cards, and then kind of really define and reiterate my deck that I will be taking for this upcoming up weekend, which is going to either be Top Deck Titans or the SCG Con in Vegas, or SCG Con or Manfest? I'm pretty sure it's SCG Con in Vegas. I would love to go to Vegas, but man, it being a 2-day event and it's really rough. So I might just do Top Deck Titans. I haven't decided yet, just because I don't think anyone else is available to go with me. I don't want to spend it's a lot of money for one person to spend, in my opinion. I'm not made of money. So yeah, I'm probably just gonna do Top Deck Titans. But let's get right into my run for Lotus 7. So first up, we have game 1, which is Kinnan in first seat, me on Cringe Farm. We have a baby blue farm deck, and then another blue farm deck. I keep a second 7 pretty good. It's fairly fast, and I think I could present a win con like turn 3, maybe turn 4 if nothing's really happening and I want to take it a little slow to draw a little bit more cards. And which would be, I believe it was going to be like a oh man, what was it? I had an Adnos, I believe. So, I had that to, go for the win con. Anyways, Kinnan moles to 4, and the blue farm in C4 also moles to 4. So I'm thinking, oh, easy game. I only have to worry about one blue farm player. This should be easy. And Kinnan starts with Crypt, Talisman, Mox Opal, Birds, which is probably the hottest 4 you could start with on Kinnan. Now I went from just like, oh, Kinnan's a non-player to, damn it, Kinnan is, still potentially could be a problem. So I was like, okay, hopefully I can draw some decent cards, maybe some rituals, and just kind of go fast and try to present a win con pretty fast. So goes to my turn. I do a turn 1 Crom, which is I had Gemstone that I started the game with, land, J-Lo, and just got Crom out. Baby blue farm plays Sentinel, and C4 plays Sentinel as well. Kinnan plays leader, Dork passes. I go to my turn 2, Soul Ring, Felwar, Timna, draw from my Crom attack, and just pass. Baby blue farm plays Warnog and passes. C4 land go. Kinnan plays Fish and just main phase spins Kinnan into a goddamn Sphinx. Probably, and I was like thinking in my head as they're going to the turn, I'm like, I wonder what they're gonna do on their turn. They might wait for me to go to my attacks or something to like flip into like a blocker, or like, maybe worst case scenario they flip into Sphinx. So I'm like in my head, like, okay, I think the worst case scenario I see a Sphinx, or I see you can't even Eldrazi. So that's in my mind right now. And sure enough, he flips and he gets a Sphinx. And currently there are 4 draw engines on the field, and 3 of them are mandatory. So now I'm like, damn it. I could, I guess, jam the win, but I feel like it's just not worth it yet. Because I like there's gotta at least be like 1 interaction. And now when I go to my turn to draw, they're gonna draw 2 cards. And I'm sure they have like at least 1 point of interaction. So, and sure enough, they do later on, which is what which I'll go over it. So they did have something for it. Well, something for a win con potentially. So I'm like super burnt, and I'm like, you know what? I'm still in a pretty good spot. Maybe I could just draw enough for like I run the decent amount of removal, I'm pretty sure I could find something and just get rid of it, and we should be fine. And now we have, 3 people at the table that want it gone, so I'm sure we'll find some way to get rid of it. The game then devolves into some low IQ madness because of this goddamn Sphinx. We tried to get rid of Sphinx with I think I tutored for a deluge, and of course from all the draws that he had, I think on my turn he drew 2, I didn't attack, drew 2, played a spell, drew 2 from the 2 sentinels, played another spell, drew 2 for me. So he drew like a lot of cards in like when it went back to him. It was insane. So at this point we know, sorry, getting ahead of myself. So we go to Baby Blue Farm's turn after plays the Sphinx, and he's like, fuck it. He tries to present a win, and then Kitten stops him with Boseiju, which I knew he was like body language. He had something in his hand. I assumed it was a counter spell, but it was just a Boseiju. Maybe he also has a counter spell for sure now at this point that he's drawn so many cards. I know he's got something. We know he's got 3 counter spells, I believe. I don't remember how we knew he has 3. I think he like bled his hand. He showed 1 at some point, but he couldn't counter something, or chose not to, I think. So we know he's got 2 for sure. I think 1 we kind of know he has like a 3rd one, and he has Monkey on the field, and then he has Basalt. So Baby Blue Farm tries to he goes Intuition, finds some pieces to win the game, and then a Bowmaster to obviously help clear up the table. We use that to blow up Kitten's board, but we can't kill the Sphinx because there's not enough draw engines or enough cards to be drawn. And every time we draw, the Sphinx player is obviously denying the draws, so we don't kill a Sphinx. Kitten is low on mana to recast everything. He still has crazy interaction to me and just passes. I have a win attempt, but not through 2 counter spells like I said, and I know there are 3 just from the Kitten, and Baby Blue Farm for sure has 1 at least, and I just draw cards, Otawara, Sphinx, and pass. Because I'm like, fuck it, I don't think I'm gonna win. I think this is gonna be a draw game, and maybe in between I will draw some cards, maybe find a Born and just like try to win through. So I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna draw cards, Sphinx, draw your cards, whatever. We're like getting really low on time, and at this point I don't think it's gonna make it back to me just because how much stuff is happening. So I just say, let's just draw cards. Baby Blue Farm tries to attempt another win con, but we show him we have like all the interaction, and we're just like, hey, let's just take the draw. Here's our interaction. Kitten does show, I believe he does show his hand, and we're like, hey, look, we got it. There's no way. And he's like, he still is gonna go for it because he needs to. He's not gonna give it back to his turn. So we're like, whatever. He casts Mean Betrayal, using some rituals. All right, he casts Mean Betrayal, and I believe the Kitten player uses the Endurance to shuffle away his graveyard because he had a lot of good stuff. So he shuffles away his own graveyard, and I just have like rituals and Ranger Captain. So that's what he does. He uses rituals, recasts Sabine's, gets back Breach, gets back Ranger Captain, cracks it in response. And I'm like, okay, I'll show you an Angel's Grace. Do you want to draw now? And he's like, no, I want to keep playing it out. I'm like, okay, you can't win here. Angel's Grace. So he attempts to like go through the line. He gets out Breach. He gets the Brain Freeze, and he's trying to like, do stuff. And we tell him like, hey, there's a Angel's Grace. So nobody, you can kill the other players if you mill everybody out, draw the table, but you can't pass the turn for me to die on my draw step because we don't get another turn here. So we need to just draw. And he's like going through it, and he thinks about it. He's like, oh, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll draw it. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. We only lost like what, another 6 minutes of him trying to go through it, figure out some way to get through it. But Angel's Grace is, goated card. So first game starts out with a draw, and pretty cancer one too. Cause if it wasn't the Sphinx, I think if it was even the can't even Eldrazi, I think I still could have at least attempted something. I would have need to have found some way to get rid of it, because then I couldn't cast Breach or Thassa. So I guess I could have put myself in a dangerous position where I cast it, potentially can't find anything, pass the turn, and then I just die to the Eldrazi attacking me, potentially. Because I definitely would have attacked with Tim Necrom to draw cards, so I don't think I would have had a blocker. So I think it would probably I think that was the best outcome. But I mean, I guess I could have gotten like super lucky in the nuts and just, had it. Got everything I needed. But that's how the game 1 went. Not too bad. I think I played it decent, at least now when the Conspeaks hit the field. I don't know if I needed to be more aggressive, but I think I played it in like ensuring the game would end up in a draw. So that's how game 1 goes. Not too bad. And then we go on to game 2, which is Kenrith, Atali, Rakdos, Muscle, and then me on Cringe Farm. I keep second 7, pretty decent. It has a turn 1 Timna, turn 3 Crom, and a turn 4 Necro with a Born in my hand. Oh, I'm like, this is pretty good. Turn 1, Kenrith plays Lan, J-Lo, passes. Atali plays Lan, Ragavan, Chromox, Mox Opal. Rakdos plays Lan, Soul, and Petal. I play Timna, pass. Kenrith plays Signet, Esper Sentinel. Atali plays Wonder Archaic and passes, which I'm like, damn it, that's not good for me. Rakdos casts his Leader, passes. I cast Talisman, attack for a draw. Kenrith plays Cradle, Mana Vault, One Ring, draws and passes. Atali swings at me with Ragman and hits my fastest Oracle with it, which is like, oh my god, of course. In the long run, I think it's good because then it kind of took some heat away from me, knowing that I don't have the Thassa to be able to win with it. Like, it's a 1-win condition that's like really easy to get and it's out of the deck. So I think it helps me out in the long run overall. He's thinking about casting the Thassa just to like look at the top 2 and put stuff away, but the table's like, don't do it. He could, you know, he still has Breach combo, he can get it back, or he can like clone it if you leave it there. Like, just leave it in exile. And he's like, okay, and he passes the turn, which is, yeah, smart. Rakdos plays land, Viserys here, sacks to itself to Rakdos trigger, does the same thing with his Gobbo for mana, and rips an Altar of Dementia, casts it, swings at me with Rakdos, and then just passes. Pretty close to getting there. He's got some of the pieces ready to go, so it was a little scary watching him do his stuff. My turn 3, I play Cavern on Human, Soul Ring, Crom, and attack only with Timna and draw a card. Leave up the Crom for some blocks in case I need it. Kenrith flashes in Fairy, and draws off my draws, and I pass. Kenrith untaps, draws 2 from Ring, casts Oxide, makes 6 treasures, plays Mana Crypt, taps out his land to cast Intuition instead of showing a loop with Dockside. And off the top of my head and from my notes, I didn't notate, but I'm pretty sure there was enough artifacts on the field for him just to Dockside loop there to make infinite mana first. And he was new to Kenrith. He did say he's pretty new to the deck, so I think he just didn't see it, unfortunately. And then it comes back to bite him really bad in this game. So he taps out his lands to cast out Intuition. I show Fierce on it. Atali copies it with Archaic, and obviously we target the Intuition. It's countered. Kenrith continues with where I lost myself, with casting Breach, and we're just like looking at his low graveyard and thinking, yeah, sure, we're not gonna do anything. We'll let it go through. Goes down to 1 treasure to escape Intuition, paying for the Archaic. So he spends 5 mana, 3 cards from his like 5-card graveyard, 6-card graveyard, which was wild to me. But like I said, he was new to the deck, so I'm sure he's like just getting lost in the sauce of all the different lines that Kenrith has, which I honestly have been in the same position too. So he searches up Savines, Fish, and Survival of the Fittest. We give him Savines since it's the most mana intensive line for him to be doing, and there's really nothing much in the graveyard that we really care about other than survival, and we're just like, sure, whatever. We give him Savines and he passes. He's 1 short, I believe, to Leader and Dockside loop, still from it. Oh, sorry, that was my notes from earlier. Yeah, he was oh, I did write it down. Okay, so I believe he was one treasure short or 1 mana short to present the Dockside loop with Leader then. Okay, I have my notes here. I don't know why I put it at the very end. But I'll have to look at the review the VOD. I think he still could have gone for it maybe, but I can't remember. This is just my notes like post game. Atali takes a turn, swings at Rakdos with Ragavan and rips off Reanimate. Uses it to get back the Skirk Prospector from Rakdos and sets up for Atali next turn. Rakdos takes turn, swings at Kenrith, passes. My turn, I swing out, draw 2, cast Dark Ritual, cast the Necro, draw 29 from it, go down to 4 because I have the already the board upon win in my hand. End step, I show Otawara on Archaic. Rakdos has SWAT to save it. I then show Born, paying the Archaic tax. Flash in Rocks, show Path on the Archaic. He copies it on his Dockside. Atali copies it and hits Dockside on board. Rip, I really needed it, or it would have made all my lines easier, but whatever. I cast Cabal, make 5 black mana, cast Diabolic Intent, sack Timna, find Dockside myself, Brain Freeze myself, and then with all the triggers on the stack, obviously, try to I don't need. Well, I don't need it. It's not from that one. But if I needed to, I can do everything on the with the triggers on the stack. If I had to discard my hand, so I just brain freeze, show the table like, hey, I got it. I can, what if I discard my hand, instant speed with the triggers on the stack, I can still flash everything out of the graveyard and show the win con. And everyone's like, yeah, they got it, but I think one of them wanted me to play it out. So I tell them I don't ever need to use LED, and the cards in my hand don't matter. I escape Granite Polisher, build up Storm Count, mill everyone out, cast Angel's Grace, and then I cast Wheel to kill the table. So pretty hot win. So that's my win. Pretty good, pretty nice. A little scary for a second there with the Kenrith player. He did potentially have the win there. And then Atali, I'm surprised with Atali. I've never seen an Atali not be cast turn 2 or turn 3. So that was weird. I don't know what kind of hand they kept. They probably kept a safe hand just to like maybe not, it wasn't fast, but ensure a win potentially. So I'm not sure. I don't think I remember asking Atali what they kept, just because I was super tired and still a little tilted from the previous game, and I wanted to go eat since these games are super early for me on the West Coast. So yeah, I took my win and gave my GGs and got out of there and went to go eat. Next up, we go to game 3. Me on still in my cringe farm. I'm in C1. We got another Atali player in C2, Najila in C3, and then a Sisse in C4. I keep again my second 7. I'm keeping a lot of second 7s. They all seem to be pretty decent. I play land, Imp Seal for fish in hopes Atali feeds me, or just make them not cast spells. Since I think my hand was like not fast, but I'd rather them just rule it all themselves, or just not cast any spells. Atali plays land, birds, J-Lo, Najila, land, J-Lo, cast leader, Sisse, land, J-Lo, cast leader. And I'm like, oh man. I untap, play fish, and I just pass. Atali plays land, Mind Goblin, and cast Atali. Shows a petal. He rips off a petal from him. Najila gets a Soul Ring. Sisse shows Savines, and I exile 4 lands, and then I flip a Chromox. He casts his petal and Soul Ring just to give me only 2 draws, and then he follows it up with a goddamn Magus of the Moon, and passes. Oh, and I'm completely shut out with that. Najila takes a turn, land attacks me, passes. Sisse, land, passes. I pay for fish and pass, and we do this for like 3 more turns of just nothing. And Atali trying to kill Najila since they're the only one showing like threats and can still play through the Magus. Atali plays Vexing. No, it gets back to me. I find a Ragavan to dash, hits Sisse, make treasure, and I cast Deluge, wiping the field. And I think probably I think the Najila had something, but was for sure letting it go through because we didn't want an Atali on the field, and it would have opened up the table, obviously, since everyone had their non-basics out. So everyone just like let it go through. And then I just passed the turn. Atali plays Vexing Shusher, passes. Sisse casts D-Tutor, grabs Dockside, casts it, gets 4 treasures, and then casts a Witch Claw and passes. At end step, I cast a Mystical Tutor and grab a Dark Ritual. I untap, cast Lotho, and then pass. Atali casts Wheel, Najila responds and casts Silence. Sisse responds and channels Spirit Realm to blink Dockside. I cast Snap, bouncing the Dockside. Sisse shows a Force of Negation. Atali makes the Snap uncounterable. Stack clears down to the Silence. I cast Dark Writ and Archivist. Atali plays land and passes turn. I believe I had Adnaz I was gonna show. I don't remember. Najila then and then the turn passes. Najila plays Board Leader's Call, attacks, casts Rhystic Study, and passes. Sisse cracks Witch Claw, grabs and casts a Meme Betrayal. There's 2 Docksides in the grave right now because of the wheel and my bounce. Najila shows Fluster to counter it, and then Sisse passes. Whew. I take my turn and cast Breach, escape Meme Betrayal in my grave, make mana from the Docksides, and show every combo in my deck because everything was like in the graveyard from the wheels. And I managed to get there. Surprisingly, I thought it was pretty scary. I was pretty sure I was gonna be locked under that Magus forever, and then like Najila and they were gonna battle it out, or like kill me and then kill Sisse and then just like duke it out potentially. But yeah, it was pretty. Oh my god, I definitely got lucky. I think the rest of my hand was like not that much good stuff. It was literally banking on that Breach resolving and then the Meme Betrayal resolving. So it looks like they wasted all their counter spells. And I got there. So another win. Fantastic, pretty smooth. Well, not smooth. It was really rough, super scary. But like the line was really clean. Just, you know, breach, beam betrayal, boom, 2 dock sides. Ugh, fantastic, love it. So then we going over to game 4. I was 4th seed and we had to repair, and it brought me up to 1st seed. I was super excited. Better lucky than good. Oh, I was super ecstatic. 4th seed, I was just like, ah, man, it's gonna be super hard. I gotta like, ugh, whatever. So then it was me going 1st, Magda 2nd, Kenrith 3rd, Najila 4th. The Magda player had to leave for medical reasons, and the TO came over to tell us, hey, do you guys want to play a 3-man pod, or do you want to just draw it? So we were just like, we'll just draw it, whatever. You know, it kind of sucks, but it doesn't matter. So then I just take another little break, go eat some more food, try to relax, you know, recenter myself, and, you know, get myself focused up for the next game. And I believe I was doing well either way. I was currently going into game 5 in seed 1. So even if I lost this game, there was no way for me to drop below 4th seed, I believe. But yeah, so this game didn't really matter what happened to me. It just would have been better for me to win it, obviously. And then we cut to top 10. So I should be just breezing right through top 10 regardless if I stay in seed 1 or 2. So we have see my notes here. So as I'm looking at the pod, it's better for me if seat 2 doesn't win. I offer draw. Me and 1st seat want to take it, of course, since we're at the top. 2nd seat declines because he's at 5 points and he needs a win to bubble in, so we play. Makes sense. I'm like, yep, of course. But obviously I'm like, well, it's in my best interest for you not to win, so obviously I'm going to interact with you and don't really care if anyone else wins. So it's Sisse in 1st seat, Niv in 2nd seat, Niv is it, Rocco in 3rd seat, and then me in 4th seat. Sisse plays land and passes, Niv plays fish and passes, Rocco plays Allosaurus Shepherd and passes, I play land, Ragavan, Amber, pass. Sisse plays oof, which is pretty confusing. He did it so early, but you know, whatever. It keeps Niv in check, and he'll spend each turn tapping out for the fish. One of them asked if let me see. It's one of the players. Why did I use a name and not the commander? Okay, so I believe the C2 player ask if anyone has anything, and I then tell them like, hey, I'm F6 this game. It doesn't matter if I win or lose, and I'll draw out the game to better secure my points. So unless someone's winning, I'm not going to interact. And he's like super sad, and he like passes on the oof, and it resolves. So now he knows, and I do want to make it known too, just so like it doesn't seem weird or like I'm trying to like kingmaker or whatever. I'm like telling them, hey, I'm gonna aim for this game to go to a draw because it's just better for me for points. And I'm like, if I see a win opportunity, I'm obviously gonna take it. But just so you know, like I'm gonna be F6. Like unless someone's winning, I'm not interacting. Do your thing. And even if someone else is showing a win, I told them too, like I'm probably not gonna interact because it's better for me points wise if I win, I draw, or you don't win. And the other two players, it doesn't matter because they're in their C positions. It won't change much for me, other than dropping me down to like 4th, the worst case scenario, for seed. So I don't like it. Doesn't. That's my gotta tell you up front, bro. That's my game plan. So he's super sad about it, obviously. Niv plays land, keeps fish, passes. Rocco plays land, Esper passes. I play land, attack Niv. Play talisman and pass. I'm building up my treasures to bait out Niv to remove it. Remove the oof, so I'll have a lot of mana open, and I have 2 clones in my hand, one for his Niv and another for his dockside. Sissy takes turn and plays Tiny Bones, joins up. We all discard, and I'm like, whatever. I discard Image because the other cards I kept were a little bit better. And surprisingly, that was the worst card in my hand, but it did feel bad to have to discard a clone effect. Niv pays for fish again and plays land, passes. And then Rocco fetches Gaia with crop rotation, casts Feybarrow Elder. Now he can play through the oof, and he can just like keep it alive. I play land, swing with Raga, build up mana again, and pass. Niv plays Sisse plays land, leader, and Elves of Deep Shadow. Niv plays land, Goblin Recruiter, puts Dockside on top, which is, I knew it, of his library, and then passes. Rocco casts J-Lo. He forgot about the oof, and we tell him, hey, you can't do that. And then he casts his leader for just X = 1. And then everyone's like, what does he get as 1? And thinking like, I don't know, doesn't really matter to me. And he gets Wirewood Symbiote. So we're like, oh, yep, that's the good one. Gets another Rocco cast for 3, and then gets out a Balaji Wayfarer. If I remember, I'll post it up on the screen for you to see. But Balaji Wayfarer is 2 generic, 1 green, creature, human scout, 2/4. It is all colors, and it doesn't affect its color identity. Multi-colored spells you cast have Convoke. I do not remember this card ever being a thing, and this seems insane for Rocco, especially with Faber Elder out, and what's the other dork? Oh my god. I don't think I recall seeing this card played in Rocco before, so this card is super nuts. I was like, wow, ecstatic about it. But he can't go any further, and he passes. I take my turn now, and I want to have gone to force Niv to play cards, so I attack with Sisei so he can block Ragavan with Oof and unlock the table. Rocco channels Archer to kill my Ragavan before damages, so I'm like, damn it. And that also would have helped unlock the table, so now that shows me, okay, he definitely has some win attempt for sure on his in his turn. So I pass. Sisei takes turn and tells us he has D-Tutor and he can fetch for Rule of Law, and I'm down for it. Table is okay, he casts it. Niv casts Born to grab the Dockside off the top of his deck, and then casts Commandeer. I tell him I'll interact here, and he says he's not going for win. He just needs Niv to ping down Rocco's creature to stop the win. And I say, okay, I'll let him have it. And then Sisei passes. So he grabs his tutor. He grabs Snap. Goes to Niv turn, and casts it, bouncing the Oof, then casts Dockside. I can't counter because he has Cavern on Goblin, Lamau. Rocco in response, nature claims my Crypt to reduce the count for the Dockside. Niv makes 6 treasures, he casts Leader, and then casts Curiosity. That punk-ass liar. So I'm like, okay, I show you Pact of Negation, he Force of Will, Curiosity resolves, and he casts LED and passes because he needed the Force of Will to start a loop, waiting for any kind of any spell to happen for him just to counter and start it. Rocco takes his turn. Niv has a Fluster in his hand, I think. But he has some kind of counter spell that he's waiting for Rocco to do something, but we tell him he's not. Unless you have for another Force of Will or something, he's never going to cast an instant or sorcery spell. And he specifically stated that for him to cast an instant or sorcery spell. So it was either like Dispel or Fluster. And Rocco just shows, Faladar Kiki line without casting a single spell or caring about Oof, and then Rocco wins. And I get my first loss. So I still end the Swiss in first seed. Pretty good, as expected, planned. Cut to top 10, so I skip it right away and make my way to Final Pod in C1, and the Rocco player goes up to C2 as C2. So, yeah, I was just like, oh, whatever. That's just hopefully he learns this lesson. Line is just not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to win. It doesn't increase EV. And then just, not dealing with the table also is just going to lose you the game. Because obviously we all have interaction. I told them, like, hey, my hand is full of interaction. I've pretty much shown none of it. So it's all going to be shown at you, dog. So that's how it goes. So again, I take another chance to relax, focus up, and get into the final pod. And then we get into it. Final pod. Me in first seat, Rocco in second, Magda in third seat. Pretty scary. Rakdos in seat 4, which is cool. And Rakdos player made it back. It's cool to see him again. So I go down to 6. I find a decent hand with the Necro line. Rocco mulligans to 4. On my turn 1, I draw a fish for the draw. Fuck yeah, never punished. It was going to be a Sentinel that I kept in my hand, but this was pretty good. So I cast fish and pass. Rocco, land go. Magda, land dwarf pass. Rakdos, land go. I keep fish, cast Sentinel. Rocco, land passes. Magda, land leader, cast another dwarf. Rakdos plays land passes. I pay for fish, land pass. Rocco plays carpet. I draw 2. He plays carpet and vault. I draw 2, and he passes. Magda plays land, goes to combat. In combat, I chained the Magda. He snap kept 7, so I'm like super scared of what he has in his hand, and I don't want to see him any treasures. He goes to his second main and just recasts Magda and plays Universal Automaton. So now we're like kind of braced, like, okay, Nat keep for 7. Now you got your artifact dwarf. Not looking good. I think now we're just waiting for him to get to the 5 treasures, and it's, GG for us. Rakdos casts Dockside, makes 5 treasures. He casts Jessica's Will, making mana. I have a counter, but I'd rather him draw more cards or like reveal cards with the Jessica to just draw me more, so I let it go through. Rakdos then plays some random evoke card for 2, but the regular mana value of it is 5, so he gets a lot of cards ripped off from the Rakdos. Rocco tries to cast Silence, which I'm like, yes, because I have a winter temp on my turn, so I want him to cast it, and then Magda's able to convince Rago to not cast Silence because I've drawn a lot of cards. I'm currently at 8 cards. Rakdos in, rips Chromox, Pier, and 3 lands. Then casts Bergie, Chromox, I draw. Rakdos player then pulls Judge to the side and has like a 5-minute conversation with the Judge. I'm not sure what's going on. I think he's trying to figure out some way to play through the silence. So we're kind of just there chilling, and finally 5 minutes later he comes back, casts Sacrifice, sacking Dockside, makes mana, ripping Razzadaddy off the top and a land. Dude's getting the worst rips that I've ever seen, and I've only ever seen this deck play like 3 times. Like, I feel so bad for this guy. Well, the cards that he's getting is good, but he's just not able to like cast them or utilize them. So that's what I mean by the worst rips. Worst rips of the good cards at the bad time. He casts Bergie from Rakdos, plays land, Goblin Bombardment, calling the weak, casts a 1 ring, draws, and passes. At upkeep, I cast Dark Ritual to keep fish and cast Dockside to make treasures to set up for Necro win next turn. Brain, there are no copy or copy effects. I play Soul Ring, discard Savines, pass turn. And I keep a good hand, lots of interaction, I'm fine. Rocco casts Leader, fetches Dockside, I don't crack treasures, and Rocco makes 10 treasures. He then casts the Silence. I cast Pact of Negation, pitching, Brain Freeze. Only other blue card in my hand besides Thassa, so I'm like, whatever, I'm just not gonna do a Brain Freeze line, kind of sucks. Then Spell Table just dies for me and Magda. And like the other 2 players were apparently good. Judges in there were like, oh, what's going on? But I'm not worried about it because I'm recording my game. And the judge, I believe the Magda player was streaming his game, so the judge was in there watching it through him. So he's like, oh, I can see what his stuff and his board's not changing. We gotta double check your stuff because, I mean, it was only like 10 seconds. It really like 5 seconds. Like it wasn't that long, I don't believe. But I'm like, whatever. We go to my video, I go to my POV, show it out, and it's black. So we go back and forth with a judge, and they're like, hey man, because we can't verify your hand, you have to shuffle your hand into your deck. And I'm just like, dude, you can see my field from the game to me streaming it now. Nothing has changed. The hand's still there on the table. Nothing's moved. Like, it's still the same. And the judge is like, nope, doesn't matter. You got to shuffle your hand into your deck. And I had a bunch of interaction and win attempt. And I with Necro. So I take a good amount of time to just sit there thinking, there's no way I'm here in the finals about to be robbed from a win right now. This is not happening. This is insane. And I have to just sit there and just figure something out, go through freaking God, the stupid program I have here, OBS, to see if there's some way to see if anything was recording, some way to verify it. Ask the judge, what more do I need from, like, what more do I need than just showing you my current stream setup, like, showing my camera that nothing's changed. Last thing we saw from the video, nothing's changed. And he's like, unless you have a video the entirety of the time or showing it, doesn't matter. So I'm just like, I mean, yeah, I obviously need I want to go and try to, dispute it in some way. There's got to be something else. And the head judge tells me, nope, no dispute. Shuffle your hand into your deck. So that's what we do. We go back into the game, shuffle my hand into the deck. Game continues, and Rocco just goes out, gets Wirewood, Kiki Jiki, Felidar, makes a bunch of nerds, swings out to the table. Me and Magda die, and then they just remind them, hey, by the way, Rakdos has a 1 ring, so you can't kill him. And then he just tutors up a Rule of Law, passes. Rakdos takes his turn, activates Witchclaw, realizes there's nothing he can get to be able to get rid of Rule of Law because he just doesn't have enough mana. And then Rocco just wins. Just like that. So yeah, I'm pretty burnt. There's just always something that goes wrong at these chaos events that just kills me. Just something happens. TO's doing something weird, not dropping people, forcing 3-man pods. Just so much, and just a long list of stuff. I mean, anyone that's gone to a chaos tournament, I'm sure they have, you know, a story or two about just something not good happening at these chaos events. And that was another one for me. So this is probably the biggest blow I've taken from these events. And now I'm in a real hard spot because I don't have a lot of cEDH events I can attend to out here in the West Coast. So this is like the only events I could do, and I'm forced to play them, and I don't really want to because stuff like this is just happening. You know, what's the point of me recording on Spell Table or, you know, recording my games with OBS when if Spell Table dies, then it just doesn't matter. It'll just show that my screen is blank. Like, am I gonna need to get a second camera set up just to be recording my fucking table just to show nothing is changing? Like, that just seems too much for these online tournaments. And I've done like a lot of other smaller online tournaments and don't recall ever having any issues with them. So I don't know what is going on here with just chaos events, just something terrible always happening. So now I'm currently thinking of what to do. Do I keep up going to these events, even though they're the only thing I can attend cEDH wise? Like, everything else is happening in the Midwest. The closest thing that happens is like Utah. That's still a lot for me to be going out there every weekend to try to go out there and like attend, and like there's hardly any chances for me to be farming top deck points out here. Like, this seems ridiculous. Like, how am I supposed to be able to compete and be a cEDH grinder when there's just no events here? There's like no opportunity for me to participate in this format out here. So that's where I'm at. That's how the game went. Yeah, it's pretty much it. I would go over some more Modern Horizons 3, but at this point, all the other bigger cEDH people have videos on Modern Horizons, so there's really nothing for me to talk about. Hopefully this weekend I'll be able to attend, hopefully, the SCG, I believe it's SCG in Vegas. You don't have to do an online tournament, even though this tournament that I went to, the Top Deck Titans, I've already forgot what it used to be called. I never had any problems with that tournament. It always went smooth. Organizers, TOs have been fantastic. Judges have been fantastic. Always had a great time. I think it was only like 2 tournaments, but they've always been wonderful, and I've had a great time. So I'd rather go to Vegas and not have to deal with online play. Also, because they happen just so goddamn early. I don't get like any sleep for these, just because how early they are for me. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Let me know below in the comments if you guys have had any issues with chaos tournaments. I would love to hear you guys tell me your experiences with them and with any other online tournaments. Let me know if there's any cEDH leagues that you know of that I could join, paid or not. I gotta go look into like Play to Win. I think they have their league. I don't think Playing with Power does theirs anymore. So let me know what other leagues there are out there for me to attend. I'd love to attend those and participate in them just to get some more cEDH in, because there's just not anything going on over here. But with that unfortunate note, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode. I hope to see you again next week. Please comment below, like the video, subscribe would be super appreciated and very helpful. And good night.